Super Mario Bros. 1993, Across Alternate Timelines, Volume 2. What if I told you the Super Mario Bros. Movie we got in 1993 was just one of many across the multiverse? Across the veil, dozens of alternate timeline versions emerged, some whimsical, some theatrical, some wildly experimental, and others more faithful than ours ever dreamed of being. There are so many of these cinematic echoes, including an alternate timeline sequel, that we've split this journey into 2 volumes. In Volume 2, we'll explore the variant that played out closer to Mario Kart, a violent dystopian road fury action flick set in a collapsed Dino-Hatton, bullet bills, mushroom gas, Spike and Iggy in a Mad Max gearshift deathmatch. In addition to this, a variant that was the fully realized version of our timeline's film, the completed director's vision. Bleak, stylish, Blade Runner-esque, with restored scenes and original VFX, as well as a 1997 sequel greenlit after the first film's success in another timeline. Daisy returns with Mario and Luigi to stop a dimensional rupture, an alternate Koopa with Wart as his advisor, and a twisted version of Daisy, known as Dark Peach. Be sure to check out Volume 1 for the first set of alternate timeline variants we accessed from the Echo Vault. So grab your wrench, your warp whistle, and maybe a mushroom or two. Let's dive back into what was across the multiverse. Alternate Timeline Variant 4, Super Mario Bros. 1994, Road Rage, Echo Timeline Designation, 94M, USHROAD, Historical Divergence Point. Yonkel and Morton are replaced early by a visual effects supervisor turned director with a taste for action. The Mad Max sci-fi action draft Clement and Lafreniere became the canonical final script after several rewrites. Overview, titled simply Super Mario Bros. Road Rage. This variant was released in 1994. The desert scenes from the drafts are expanded into full Mario Kart meets Thunderdome sequences. Big Bertha is a freedom-fighting X-Warp Zone racer. Koopa is played by a different actor, Max von Sydow. There are darker undertones about memory erosion and timeline collapse. 6 notable scenes from this alternate timeline variant. Scene 1, Turbo Tunnel Tag in the Dust Bowl circuit. Scene type, chaotic racing combat. Mario and Luigi are thrust into a desert racing gauntlet where X-Warp Zone drivers fight for fuel and mushroom rations. The sequence plays like Mad Max fused with Mario Kart. Giant banana peels spin out armored buggies. Bow bombs are used as proximity mines. Mario wins by flipping his junker car over a lava ramp using a springboard powered by red shell gas. He yells, "I'm driving here," as Koopa choppers close in. Scene 2, Big Bertha's Slam Slam Rally. Scene type, melee mayhem in a scrap arena. In the cracked remains of an old shopping mall, Big Bertha, now a former champion racer turned underground rebel leader, hosts a gladiator-style brawl called the Slam Slam Rally. Contestants fight with spiked Koopa shells and hubcap shields. Bertha leaps in mid-fight to save Luigi, slamming to Goomba enforcers with her turbo boots. Her catchphrase, "Spin out, sweetheart," becomes an iconic soundbite. Scene 3, Koopa's memory jukebox torture. Scene type, dark humor, villain sequence. Koopa, played with chilling detachment by Max von Sydow, operates a bizarre torture device that erases and remixes memories using sound waves. Victims hear twisted versions of childhood jingles and Mario theme music, while their pasts are scrambled. When Luigi is briefly caught in the machine, he experiences a hallucination where he's a plumber, a racer, and a fungus prince all at once. A disorienting and hilarious meta sequence. Scene 4. Luigi's Sandstorm Vision. Echoes of the original circuit. Scene type. Dreamlike lore drop. While separated in the Dust Bowl wastes, Luigi is caught in a memory storm, a temporal event where sand reveals other timelines. Ghostly Mario brothers appear racing past him in 8-bit chariots, leaving behind pixelated tire tracks. A vision of Daisy appears. Warning: the tracks are looping. You're not the first versions. The scene hints at multiversal decay, a quiet tragedy beneath the roaring engines. Scene 5. Big Bertha's Regret. Scene type. Quiet confessional. By a burning barrel in a crashed shuttle bay, Big Bertha admits to Luigi that she used to run races for Koopa's regime, before learning the circuits were harvesting memory fragments from losers. Her eyes glisten as she hands him a mushroom pendant, saying, "I stole this from the last racer who remembered his name. Don't let it be wasted." This scene humanizes Bertha and cements her as the film's emotional compass. Scene 6. Final showdown on the cracked loop. Last lap before the fall. Scene type. High stakes ending with emotional stakes. The climax unfolds on a cracked orbital racetrack suspended over the warp vortex. As time begins collapsing, Mario confronts Koopa in a brutal one-on-one car duel, while Luigi climbs the control spire to stabilize the collapsing dimensions. As Koopa's car careens toward a tear in space, he mutters, "This isn't even my original world," before vanishing. Mario and Luigi drive their battered cart through the vortex, unsure if they'll end up home or somewhere else entirely. Legacy in that timeline. The VHS tape of Super Mario Bros. Road Rage became a beloved sleepover classic in that world. Its soundtrack, featuring grunge covers of Mario game themes, was nominated for awards. Notably absent, the transitional sci-fi fantasy pitch by Parker Bennett and Terry Runt was never fully realized in any alternate timeline. It was seen as a liminal concept, too diluted to stabilize as a film, always eventually branching into a different draft. The Disney Princess distribution script variant with the double wedding and romantic overtones by Ed Solomon and Ryan Rowe was produced in a Disney-owned alternate timeline variant, but was critically panned and not well received, yet is considered childhood nostalgia for that world's millennials. Alternate timeline variant 5, Super Mario Bros. 1993. The Cyberpunk Ascension Cut. Echo Timeline Designation SMBC backed 9.3. Rating PG-13. Distributor Hollywood Pictures. Allied Studios. Tagline: some worlds are flushed, others are found. Primary historical divergence point. May-June 1992. During the production phase, several scenes were rewritten and filmed differently due to new script adjustments made on set. This included its tonal restructuring of Toad's song sequence, which became a rebellious public execution, as well as conceptual additions like the Goomba memory touch mechanic, which subtly reframed the role of evolved, de-evolved consciousness in the film's lore. Secondary historical divergence point. October 16, 1992. Surprise test screening in Burbank. In this world, a rough extended director's cut was screened to a surprise test audience in Burbank that tested exceptionally well with 15 to 25-year-olds. A key executive at Allied, a mid-tier distributor in this timeline, was present during that screening and was highly impressed. Immediately offered a co-financing and re-editing deal in exchange for preserving the tone and adding a gritty, cyber fantasy marketing push. Allied Studios negotiates immediate buyout of distribution from Disney's Touchstone, establishing a cyberpunk fantasy label. So, instead of Disney meddling, the film left Touchstone. It was sold as Blade Runner for kids raised on Nintendo, with a bold tagline campaign: "You've seen the Mushroom Kingdom. This is the Mushroom Collapse." Editing shift. A director-led finishing team, using Allied's expanded budget, refines FX, particularly tactile devolution slime effects, Goomba subtitled transitions, slime technician scene, and animatronic dinosaur prologue. No studio censorship. Cuts are tightened, but never compromised. Key differences in this version. Many of the 15 minutes of deleted scenes that are found within the extended workprint cut of the film that was recovered by fans in our world are present in this timeline variant's canonical cut. One notable removal is the payoff scene for the pizza gag, as it ended up on the cutting room floor due to extensive post-production reshoots of the ending. 6 notable scenes from this alternate timeline variant. Scene 1. Rainfall. Pursuit Cooper in our world. Expanded to a 4-minute cold open. A shot of Cooper standing in the rain, gazing at New York City, is followed by an intercut montage of Daisy's mother hiding in the subway tunnels. Echoes of her footsteps mix with Cooper's distant humming of Rockabye Baby. Daisy's egg opening in the cathedral also cuts to a close-up of her reptilian-like colored eye opening in the shell, before it blinks, shifting to a normal eye color. Scene 2. Toad's full rebellion song, Castrate the Cooper. In this timeline, the full Mojo Nixon song is canon, but dramatically recontextualized. The song unfolds during a public execution, with Toad bound to a rusted execution stage in the heart of Cooper Square. A Cooper trooper puffs a cigar as he lights a crude, painted turtle shell rocket bomb packed with dynamite, its fuse hissing at the far end of the stage. Toad begins to sing, not with fear, but righteous fury. In the crowd, a reptilian street performer known only as Demon, a friend of Toad's, lifts Toad's confiscated guitar and joins in, strumming the chords as Toad belts the infamous anthem of dissent. As the verses escalate, the crowd joins the song, a rare moment of unity between the oppressed Dynaharton citizens, Lizardkin, and even a few disgruntled Goombas. Just before the turtle shell rocket goes off, Cooper's enforcers storm the stage, put it out, silence the music, and drag Toad away. A clipboard-carrying trooper crosses out the word execution below Toad's name and writes de-evolution in grim block letters. The Mario Brothers, having protested the unfolding injustice, are swept up with the crowd and thrown into Cell Block Delta. Fun echo fact. Merchandise from this timeline includes a black t-shirt with the phrase "Castrate the Cooper" in jagged stencil font. Scene 3. Lizardman prison confrontation. This deleted scene was included in full, with a tighter edit. The Mark Miller demon character even coughs up a mushroom mid-argument, which Mario later uses to escape. Luigi's line, "You told me to go after her," is part of a larger thread on responsibility versus destiny, reinforced throughout the film. Scene 4, full de-evolution scene, plus slime technician. Yes, this was intact and grotesque, with tactile slime FX by a second effects team, some of whom went on to work on Farscape in that timeline. The line, "It's worse than death, it's being undone," is the emotional thesis of the film. The slime puddle quivers afterward, later revealed to still be semi-conscious. Scene 5, Goomba subtitles. In that timeline's cut, only Toad Goomba is subtitled, but subtly, words appear as glowing fungal script at the bottom of the screen, quickly fading. This mechanic is explained when Luigi briefly touches Toad Goomba and experiences a memory flash of Toad's past. Scene ends with the whispered, subtitled line, "It hurts, but I remember the music." Scene 6, alternate prologue, Fracture Fall. The animated intro is gone in this timeline. Instead, the film opens with a live-action prologue, a haunting, fog-drenched swamp world populated by realistic dinosaur animatronics and puppetry, evoking Jim Henson's Dark Crystal or early I Am work. As primitive thunder rolls overhead, a lone Parasaurolophus raises its head to the sky. The moment is quiet, until a blinding light splits the mist. The meteor hits, but rather than extinguishing life, time fractures, cracks ripple through reality. A voice narrates, slow and filled with regal contempt. What if the impact had split the world instead? What if evolution marched on, down two paths, not one? This isn't a cartoon voiceover. It's Dennis Hopper himself, delivering the line in character as President Cooper, recounting his species' history like a corrupted bedtime story. The scene hard cuts into the full extended version of the Rainfall Pursuit sequence. As Cooper's agents chase the human woman through 1992 Brooklyn, Cooper has already infiltrated our world. This opening positions the film not as slapstick fantasy, but as fractured techno-myth, a multiversal Genesis rupture whose echoes reach both worlds. Alternate ending, Mario vs. Bowser, Brooklyn Bridge Showdown. Note: the full Mario vs. Bowser finale was filmed during late post-production reshoots, funded after the October 16, 1992 surprise test screening in Burbank, prompting the studio to allow a VFX finale reshoot in November-December 1992 on a scaled-down but atmospheric Brooklyn Bridge set built on Stage 18. In this ending, Koopa mutates into full Bowser form via drinking an unstable Devolver potion from his belt, turning into a massive reptilian chimera with spikes, scales, and glowing yellow eyes. Location: a fog-choked Brooklyn Bridge, partially collapsed, with reality flickering between the Diner Hutton and Earth worlds due to the meteorite's unstable power. Mario and Luigi arrive via a repurposed fire truck with a mounted Thwomp Stomper cannon. The brothers are fully suited, Mario with the hammer, Luigi with the lightning gauntlet recovered from the lab. Bowser Koopa roars, "You want your world back? Then take it from my bones." The battle plays out like a steampunk Chayu duel. Mario uses gravity boots to leap across suspension cables. Luigi blasts lightning from the gauntlet, phasing Koopa mid-strike. The Brooklyn Bridge begins shimmering between timelines, half dino flesh, half steel. Toad Gumba briefly intervenes, playing a power chord that disrupts Koopa's balance. In the final blow, Mario slams his hammer into the bridge's power grid, causing a lightning surge to strike Bowser, crystallizing him in a block of amber. Brooklyn's closed. Koopa, Mario. As the sun rises, the worlds begin to restabilize, and the brothers return to Dynahatton to dismantle the de-evolution tech, or so the mid-credits scene implies. Reception in that timeline. This film version developed a cult following immediately, not years later. Received better both critically and commercially. 1993 to 1995. Initial cult rise. College kids and game store employees begin midnight screenings within months of release. Popular among kids who felt too old for cartoons, but too young for horror. The ideal transitional genre film. 1996. Nintendo's response. Super Mario Broken Realms anthologies released on the Super Nintendo CD. This is a timeline where Sony, Nintendo, actually made the console. Game features 3 realms. Classic Mushroom Kingdom. Dynahatton, based on the film. Spore Expanse. A fungal dream world based on early film concept art. 1997 sequel. Yes, the Cyberpunk Ascension Cut timeline did receive a true sequel. Filmed in 1996 and released theatrically in 1997. It was titled Super Mario Bros. 2. Kingdoms in Collision 1997. 2000s. Media Study Resurgence. Courses in Analog Dystopia and Children's Sci-Fi. Trauma cite the film as a key case. 2010s to 2020s. Revered legacy. No YouTube mockery. Instead, tribute essays and vaporwave recuts. Popular merch includes Castrate the Koopa and It Hurts. But I remember the music t-shirts. Goomba glowing pins. Koopa's reptilian devolution. Colored eye contact lenses. Koopa Slime FX replica jars plus devolution chamber playset. By the 2010s in that timeline, the film is considered the linchpin of analog cyberpunk kid horror. Alternate timeline sequel. Super Mario Bros. 2 Kingdoms in Collision 1997. Alternate timeline. Echo Strand SMB7 Delta. Sequel greenlit May 1994. Following a cult home video, resurgence and punk zine acclaim. Filming March to September 1996. Release May 30th, 1997. Limited theatrical plus rapid VHS cult success. Plot summary. Set 4 years after the fall of Koopa, Kingdoms in Collision begins with Dynahatton healing. But strange rifts begin to appear, glitching chunks of other dimensions bleeding into both Earth and Dynahatton. These kingdoms, which are wild, malformed echo realms, hint at a collapsing multiverse caused by tampering with the meteorite and de-evolution technology. Mario Bob Hoskins is retired and disillusioned, while Luigi John Leguizamo is now a dimensional repairman, partnered with a partially re-evolved Goomba Toad still played by Mojo Nixon, now partially re-evolved with a guitar that channels phase energy. Princess Daisy leads a scientific mystic order, the Order of the Shell, decoding ancient murals that show repeating cycles of collision across worlds. She is haunted by visions of Dark Peach, a corrupted version of her alternate self. Every world has a twin, and every twin has a shadow. Villains and antagonists. The Recursive King, a mind-shattered Cooper variant from a doomed kingdom of clocks and decay. Played again by Dennis Hopper in full madness. He controls an army of shell wraiths, decayed forms of Coopers from failed timelines. He has a mutant-like evolved frog named Wart, who acts as his advisor and caretaker, but clearly has his own eye on ruling the multiverse. Dark Peach. Shadow Daisy. A dark variant of Daisy from a broken timeline, played by Samantha Mathis in dual roles. She acts as a scion of entropy, trying to merge all mushroom kingdoms into one and erase their differences. Before her timeline was broken, and she fell to darkness. She was an alternate version of Daisy, who had been named Peach at birth instead. Key scenes. Subway to the Shadowlands. Luigi boards an interdimensional subway full of dead timelines, versions of himself and Mario who failed. Mario's farewell. Mario sacrifices his connection to Earth, choosing to remain in Dynahattan forever, sealing the rift between worlds. Guitar duel on the Fracture Bridge. Toad fights a shell wraith in a sonic duel, using his power-charged guitar and lyrics that remember better worlds. 6 notable scenes from this alternate timeline sequel. Scene 1. Subway to the Shadowlands. Luigi John Leguizamo, now a dimensional repairman, rides a broken subway that passes through flickering versions of failed timelines. Each stop reveals variations of Mario and Luigi, who failed their missions, desaturated versions. Goomba feed, or fused with tech. The train's walls flicker with ghostly graffiti. We jumped wrong, and the plumber lied. Atmosphere. Harrowing cyberpunk dread, with glitchwave ambient score. Echo quote, "I'm not the only me who lost him." Scene 2. The Shell is Memory. Daisy Samantha Mathis leads the Order of the Shell through a temple chamber where ancient murals animate under starlight, revealing past cycles of war and union between twin worlds. One mural briefly shows a fireflower symbol flaring over a frozen earth. Lore drop. Implies ancient mushroom kingdoms once reached Earth before. Mythic line. Every world is the memory of another world's dream. Scene 3. Fracture Bridge guitar duel. Toad Mojo Nixon, now partially re-evolved and channeling echo resonance through his electric guitar, duels a shell wraith on a fractured metal bridge suspended between broken kingdoms. The riffs pulse with living sound waves. Lyrics reshape the collapsing world around them, rewriting memory. Song quote, "I remember sunshine. I remember green. You're not real, shell thing. You're just a bad dream." Note: fan-made 7 inches vinyls of this scene exist in that timeline. Scene 4. The Recursive King's arrival. Dennis Hopper returns as a deranged Cooper variant known as the Recursive King, his body fragmented by time, speaking in loops. His crown is made of broken clocks. His throne a rusted Metro control console. He delivers a chilling monologue. "I watched every world die. Some screamed. Some laughed. One apologized." Scene 5. Dark Peach vs. Daisy. Temple collapse. Samantha Mathis in a dual performance battles herself as Daisy versus Shadow Daisy in a crumbling temple. Their dialogue overlapping in echo. Shadow Daisy insists their fusion is destiny. Daisy replies, "I'm not your twin. I'm your memory of what could have gone right. Visually, reflected in shattered shell mosaics mirrors mid-battle. Scene 6. Mario's final goodbye. Mario Bob Hoskins, old, tired, and wounded, chooses to stay behind in Dynahattan to manually detonate the last rift stabilizer as Luigi and Daisy escape. The rift begins to heal as a rain of glowing red shells fall from the sky. Final words to Luigi. You were always the player too. But you're the one still playing. Cue sad Koopa parade reprise. As the credits begin. Legacy and reception. Critically divisive at the time, but acclaimed in retrospectives as The Empire Strikes Back of retro cyberpunk. Too brave, too weird, too ahead of its time. And that's why it works. It became a template for future experimental video game adaptations, inspiring later surreal works like Eternal Engine, Bit Kingdom, and Metroid. Echo drifted that timeline. Cancelled project. A third film, Super Mario Bros. 3, Echoes of Bowser, was written, but never filmed in any neighboring timeline branches. Storyboards exist though. Echo the Old Plaque. Super Mario Bros. 1993. This film was a broken transmission from a brighter dream. A myth misplaced. A kingdom re-evolving. It was strange, wrong-colored, jagged, and it mattered. Because beneath the dissonance was a world still waiting to be remembered.